Coming up on Network Africa, Burkina Faso military rulers scrapped the Electoral Commission in the country, handing over future polls to the Interior Ministry. France ends its 65-year military presence in Senegal, hands over largest base to the government. Plus, Sudan swears in 5 new military-appointed ministers as war with the rapid support forces continues. Hello and welcome to the program today. I'm Layo Olarinde. We begin in Burkina Faso, where the military rulers have disbanded the country's electoral commission, saying this would reinforce sovereign control on the electoral process and at the same time limit foreign influences. According to the Territorial Administration Ministry, the electoral commission was subsidized with around $870,000 a year. Local media reports that the Interior Ministry will now handle elections in the future. However, it's unclear when that will take place. After seizing power in September 2022, the coup leaders have initiated sweeping reforms, including the postponement of elections, which would lead to a return to civilian rule. A nationwide vote was due last year, but the junta extended the period of transition to democracy until July 2029, allowing leader Captain Ibrahim Traoré to remain in power and free to contest the next presidential election. Well, France has formally handed over Camp Gelil, its largest military base in Senegal, to the Senegalese government in a ceremony that held in Ouakam. Senegalese Chief of General Staff Mbaye Cissé lauded the event as an important turning point in the rich and long journey of military cooperation between Senegal and France, adding that the new format of partnership is aligned with Senegal's updated defense and security doctrine, aiming to strengthen the autonomy of its armed forces while contributing to regional and global security. Commander of French forces in Africa, General Pascal Iyani, was also at the ceremony, with Senegalese and French soldiers standing in formation with their rifles. For the transfer marks the end of a 65-year French military presence in Senegal. Roughly 350 French troops who had been conducting joint operations with Senegal's army are now leaving as part of a withdrawal process initiated in March. Well, Deputy President of South Africa, Paul Mashatile, is hailing what he calls a solid relationship with his country and China, and is calling for stronger economic ties in the 26-year bilateral relationship of both countries. Mr. Mashatile was speaking to business leaders and officials at the South Africa-China Investment Forum in Beijing, also highlighting a growing trade imbalance that he says favors China. South Africa mainly exports raw materials and minerals while importing manufactured goods and capital equipment from China. Mr. Mashatile said new efforts are needed to rebalance trade and also promote sustainable development. The forum comes amid renewed interest from both governments in expanding cooperation in infrastructure, energy and green technology sectors.
Together with delegates from South Africa, we have been here for almost a week, and during this time we were privileged to be able to participate in the 3rd China International Supply Chain Expo, CISCE. We have also come here as part of reflecting on the evolving strategic trajectory of the South Africa-China relationship and reaffirming both countries' commitment to deepening mutual cooperation in support of inclusive economic growth and sustainable development. We have seen substantial growth since the establishment of diplomatic ties in 1998. We value this long-standing relationship because it has been established on a shared vision for a prosperous future. It goes without saying that this relationship is solid. We are both part of the BRICS economic partnership, along with Brazil, Russia, and India. Additionally, both our nations participate in various other multilateral institutions. We collaborate on global issues and promote the interests of the developing countries. Whilst the relationship has benefited both nations by increasing trade and investments, there are some drawbacks, such as a continuing trade deficit between South Africa and China, which favors China.
And speaking of bilateral relations, the director of the Institute for Pan-African Thought and Conversation, IPACT, Professor Zondi, is calling for currency diversification and deeper cooperation between BRICS member states. Professor Zondi, in an interview in Pretoria, explains that using domestic currencies between trading partners would make bilateral transactions simpler and more cost-effective, calling it only fair for countries to use their currencies instead of the currency of a country that is not involved in a transaction. He also described BRICS as a strategic alliance for the global south, aimed at counterbalancing Western dominance in trade, investment, and global governance. 5 new ministers have been sworn into the Sudanese government as part of the recently announced Government of Hope. This comes as the ongoing conflict continues to worsen the country's humanitarian crisis. The newly appointed ministers swore their oaths in a ceremony attended by the head of the Transitional Sovereignty Council, Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, in Port Sudan. All the new cabinet ministers include the Minister of Federal Governance and Rural Development, Minister for Justice, Minister for Finance, for Industry and Trade, and Minister of Religious Affairs and Endowments. According to local media, General al-Burhan and Prime Minister Kamel Idris held a meeting with the new ministers after the ceremony to outline their priorities for the next phase. Prime Minister Idris established the Government of Hope back in May, and it's a transitional administration that's been tasked with leading the nation away from conflict and deep political divisions. It also comes despite ongoing fighting between the Rapid Support Forces and the Sudanese army, which escalated in April 2023. As violence against civilians escalates in South Sudan, especially to record levels in the country, the already fragile relationship between the country's military and those that are supposed to protect it is stretching to a breaking point. The UN reports that communities continue to be subjected to aerial bombardments and caught in the crossfire of military confrontations, losing their lives and forced to flee their homes. The UN mission in South Sudan has now held a workshop, bringing together local community and military representatives to discuss the challenges and also to develop action plans for improving relations.
We are trying to ensure that this presence happens across the country, but more importantly in hotspots. So one of the important things UNMISS has been doing is to ensure that it goes either before, which is more important, so as to prevent crimes, but when crimes happen, after those crimes, to locations where these crimes happen, with the civil society's participation, to ensure that these crimes are reported and then they are taken through the appropriate justice chain, either civilian or military, for appropriate prosecution or in investigation.
Let's take a break now on the program. Still ahead. On our Africa Tech segment, we go through a cybersecurity conference here in Nigeria that's helping citizens build a resilient digital future. Welcome to our Africa Tech segment. The Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, was recently on a visit to Lagos alongside 26 people in his delegation as they seek to create stronger ties with other Nigerian businesses who also want to scale up presence globally. Gori Yahaya, founder and CEO of Upskill Universe, a digital learning and social impact scale-up, is the brain behind some of the world's largest tech talent academies. Using AI tools as a launchpad, he is well on his way to empowering 10,000 African SMEs in collaboration with HP and Google.
In any organization, we build large-scale training programs on topics like AI, data, leadership to help businesses feel empowered to take advantage of the tech that we have in this world, grow their business, get a job, or even progress within your organization. So getting to know things like AI, how to use data effectively. And we've run some of the largest training programs across the UK, but also even across Nigeria and actually other countries across Africa as well.
Does it also extend to the newsroom, like to news media?
Yeah, so we ran a program specifically focused on news media. It was actually digital transformation. We worked with Google's News Initiative to help them educate publications on how they can embrace some of the new technologies that Google's are bringing out to support the newsroom in terms of embracing tech.
But you know, the general fear is that AI could replace jobs. So how are you helping to minimize that fear while still helping others to know that their jobs are still secure?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a big worry for people, right? Because we're getting more familiar with the power of AI and what it can do at such a rapid rate. And I think what people often underestimate is our ability as humans to be able to adapt effectively, right? AI is just a tool. It's a technology. It's what we're using to help us do our jobs better. So it will replace and it will come for your tasks, right? But your role is not your tasks. The value you bring to your organization is not just the task that you do. So it's about understanding the value you bring and helping you embrace it in a way that can be a companion to you. And you're not just using it in a way that you're thinking it's going to take over everything that you do. That can't be the case.
And so it's not a replacement.
It's not a replacement. It's there to support you, to elevate you, right? You know, I often talk about the future belonging to human intelligence, our ability to solve complex problems, our ability to really look at problems in a way that have a certain level of complexity, right? That with the right kind of curiosity can help us solve them in a more efficient and effective way. You need that. AI can't do the things that we do at the moment. What it can do is help us tackle the tasks that we have much more efficiently and much more effectively. And that's kind of how we're using it effectively.
Well, among the 26-man delegation accompanying the Mayor of London during his first visit to Nigeria is Suresh Vajani. He's the co-founder and CEO of Cloud9, the world's first cloud-native, cloud-certified, decentralized issuer processing platform. The startup is designed to be the most efficient and data processor, enabling real-time payments across any network, any system, and any payment type anywhere in the world. He tried to break it down for those not in the tech space.
Down for a number of Nigerians who are not in the tech space.
Yeah, no, look, it's really hard to explain to somebody what we do. It's a bit like showing someone a house and saying, you see this house? Isn't it amazing? And they're like, yeah, did you build the house? Like, no, we didn't build the house. But you know the plumbing in the house and the foundations? We did all of that. And they're like, yeah, but how does that work? So what it is when it comes to, when you think of a lot of these fintechs and neobanks, they have amazing apps, amazing user experience. It's very slick in design and appearance. But what sits behind it, the infrastructure that sits behind it, some of that is 20, 30 years old.
Yeah.
And it hasn't innovated for years. So people are building on a foundation that fundamentally is dated, isn't as flexible as it should be, and it just looks really great on the front end. What we've done at Cloud9 is rebuilt the back-end infrastructure. I kind of call it the non-sexy side of payments. It's what you don't see. It's the plumbing, the infrastructure, all of those things. And when it comes to the banks that want to do the next generation of debit cards and wallets and apps, it really, really pushes the boundaries. So we're a team very, very experienced. We worked with Revolut from inception. You know, when they just had an idea. Revolut, Monzo Bank, Starling, TransferWise. So, you know, you wouldn't hear about us because we're very much behind the scenes, but the team is very experienced and we've built this groundbreaking infrastructure in the cloud in a way that we have no geographical barriers. And the funny thing is, when I think about Africa, I see a country and a region that can learn from the mistakes of other places. You know, you look at here, you know, you're not messing around with copper wires for your telephones. You went straight to mobile. So
The Lagos State government has unveiled the first local government-owned radio station in the Mushin area of the state. The radio station is called Ishokon 106.7 FM, and Deputy Governor Kadri Hamzat describes the initiative as a laudable one that will disseminate effective information to the people.
Mushin local government area of Lagos now boasts of a brand new radio station and other infrastructure projects, including markets and office complex for administrative purpose that will serve the people within Mushin locality. Lagos State Deputy Governor Kadri Hamzat, senior government officials, APC party leaders, representative of Mushin constituency, market women, traditional rulers and other community members are here to witness the ceremony.
We don't want anybody to stand like this.
The state chief of staff and other leaders of the APC commend the good works of the outgoing chairman of Mushin local government area, which aligns with the Lagos State Themes Plus agenda.
We are happy with you, and we also believe that your successor will also take the baton from you and even do a greater thing for the people of Mushin local government.
Honorable Gbagboe, I thank you for not disappointing the party. I thank you for fulfilling your own covenant with the people. You made a covenant to serve the people of Mushin diligently. And here you are, fulfilling your own aspect of the covenant.
And to look at what he has said he has done, what we have seen that he has done, we don't have any other choice to commend him because he has really, really tried.
Over the past 8 years, Emmanuel Bamigboye has delivered dividends of democracy to the people of Mushin. He applauded the government for not tampering with their allocation.
We have done over 90 roads, and we thank God for that. With interlock and even street lights. I said they should thank our governor and his deputy for not touching our allocation like some of the governors in the state, in the federations. They didn't give us money for toilet roll and pay salary only.
The deputy governor is delighted with the developmental strides in Mushin and says APC will continue to prioritize the interest of the people.
We are very proud. We are commissioning all sorts of things. Ishokon radio station 106.7 FM. All the way. So our state is progressing. We are building roads. We are building radio stations. We are building PHCs. We are building hospitals. We are building schools.
The event was rounded off with the official unveiling of the Ganiyu Solomon Office Complex, Mushin Main Market, and other projects for the benefit of the people.
As Nigeria accelerates its transition to a digital economy, the federal government is stepping up efforts to protect the nation's cyberspace through the first ever National Cybersecurity Conference themed Building a Resilient Digital Future. Organized by the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, the conference aimed to strengthen cyber resilience, boost collaboration, and secure the country's growing digital economy.
Sharing and collaboration with
the maiden edition of the 2025 National Cybersecurity Conference kicks off on a high note, addressing critical conversations central to shaping Nigeria's digital economy. Organized by the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, under the theme Building a Resilient Digital Future, the conference embarks on a bold mission to strengthen the protection of the nation's cyberspace. The Director General of NITDA, while stressing the urgency of reinforcing the digital backbone of the country, highlights the importance of strengthening cybersecurity frameworks, securing global partnerships, and investing in trainings and capacity buildings.
Our vision is to make Nigeria a digitally empowered nation, fostering on inclusive economic growth through technological innovation. We are opening this conference to strengthen our national cybersecurity resilience by fostering collaboration between governments, academia, industry, and international organizations.
Cybersecurity issues have never been more pressing, and so the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission highlights the lingering threats in the cyberspace and outlines the Commission's efforts in tackling them. Meanwhile, the National Security Advisor commends the strides in the country's digital revolution.
The financial ecosystem is particularly vulnerable, not only because of its centrality to the economy, but also due to the high value of its data and assets. In recent years, we have witnessed the following: banking attack due to malware and ransom attacks, increased phishing and social engineering schemes, sophisticated cyber fraud, exploitation of cryptocurrency platforms, fake investment applications stealing customers' data, ATM skimming, and SIM swap. On our part, in EFCC, we have recorded notable progress in dealing with cyber threats in the economy. Some of the milestones recorded include enhanced capabilities in cyber forensic analysis and syndicate disruption, culminating in significant arrests and convictions in cybercrime cases.
A resilient digital future is not given. It must be built consciously, collectively, and indeed urgently. Nigeria's digital transformation is accelerating. With it comes greater economic opportunity, but also, unfortunately, greater vulnerability. The systems that power banks, healthcare, communications, our schools, everything, and indeed all public services are increasingly targets of cyber attacks. Resilience, therefore, is no longer optional. It is the bedrock of national security and economic stability.
With cyber threats growing more complex, key voices contribute to the conversation.
Criminals, if you go to the dark web, they're always sharing information, sharing know-how, sharing kits into how to hack or do others. We, unfortunately, do not collaborate as much as we should do. Thank God for NGSAT, what they're doing right now in trying to coordinate, all of us to come together and share information, get alerts so that we protect ourselves across all channels. That, for me, is the critical thing that's missing.
The National Cybersecurity Conference brings together global experts, innovators, and leaders in the cybersecurity space to contribute to conversations that will shape Nigeria's digital future.
And that's it on the program for today and for the week. Thank you for watching. I'm Layo Olarinde. Have a lovely weekend.